Hey there everyone. So today's hop is going to be a simple CAP flight, about 45 nautical miles north of the boat, setting up between the E-2 Hawkeye and station the USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group and the Russian coast. Because of heightened air threat activity, we're going to be carrying 6 AMRAAMs, 2 Sidewinders, and 2 bags. We're going to be pretty much calm out the entire time, so we're not going to be communicating with the E-2 Hawkeye. We're going to be operating on our own sovereignty, using our own decisions, and utilizing the Hawkeye's data link and radar to make educated choices. The only comms that we're going to have the entire mission are going to be with the CATS, the Air Boss, and the LSO when coming back aboard the boat. So there's a salute to roll out, and we're going to be heading out to Cat 1 soon. There, just over the nose, you can see the yellow shirt, aka the plane director. We're coming around. I'm looking for the next plane director. He's just off to the right. There he is, handing me off to the next plane director. There's the last one directing me even further to the right towards an F-14B Tomcat. Now, note on these Tomcats, they are the only other aircraft on deck except for a Hornet just after the island. We are not going to have any alert aircraft, so it's just us today. Or that doesn't mean that there's significant threat to the Carrier Strike Group, because we do have a bunch of escorts with us. Several Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, and all over Hazard Perry, and I don't remember the last class, but we have them too. We're coming left, following the plane director you can't see yet, and there he is, lining up Cat 1. Come forward, come forward, come forward, and stop. So right now our nose gear is just barely on the catapult track, and a green shirt is going to come behind us. There's the signal to lower the launch bar. Now he's going to step out of the way. A green shirt right under our nose is going to tell the yellow shirt to tell us to come forward and bring our nose gear over the launch bar. The plane's going to shudder slightly until the shuttle puts us fully into tension. And there it is. And there's the shooter on the left. He's about to give us the signal. Do the wipeout with the controls, all good to go. Full afterburner, and the salute. Hand goes up on the canopy rail, and we're good to go. Now it's all up to the shooter. Boom, there it is. Gear up. At 270 knots, flaps up. There's the rollout to the waypoint, and you don't get much better than that. Yes, we are still in full afterburner, but I want to get up to altitude as quickly as possible. And I'm going to hit our economy speed, so we can use all the fuel in the tanks and drop them when we need to. I don't plan on recovering with these tanks. And we're going to set up at about Angels 3-0 or 30,000 feet. That's the best part right there. beeping that you heard was our RWR radar warning receiver telling us that there's a radar looking at us, and that would have been from the escorts in the carrier strike group, or the E-2 Hawkeye. The E-2 Hawkeye is an airborne boarding and control aircraft, but don't confuse that with the AWACS. They don't like that. The AWACS is the E-3 Sentry. The E-2 Hawkeye is just called the Hawkeye. Oh, and don't be one of those people who says AWAC when talking about it in the singular. The S is for system. And there we are, leveling out at Angels 3-0. That dashed circle that you can see up at the top of the SA page is the threat ring for the SA-10 SAM system. It's a very long-range system, but at that edge of the threat ring, it's not much of a hazard. And the circle with a line and a dot in the middle is the E-2 Hawkeye. Now this is the SA page. It looks very similar to the HSI, or Horizontal Situation Indicator. The difference being that the SA page, or Situational Awareness page, it does show waypoint data and such, but it also shows data link data. And data link is through link 16. It's a way for the E-2 Hawkeye and the Carrier Strike Group to show us what they can see. And the Hornet has what's called sensor fusion, which means it can take data from multiple sensors and display them on a single page. So I do currently have an RWR display between my legs. It also shows up on the SA page. And right now, that diddle that you got was a 29 spike. Well, I put my cursor over it, and the Nectar, or non-cooperative track recognition feature, showed me that that was the Su-27. So here we are going into air-to-air mode, and we're about to flick master arm on. So just cycling through the missiles, making sure that they are all good to go. Master arm on, so going back to the SA page. Bring the cursor up, just a moment. You can see that red dot, or that red indicator, that is showing that that Su-27 is headed generally towards the Hawkeye. So I'm setting myself up between it and the Hawkeye. I don't know what they're going to do. You can also see those two tracks in the upper right. Those are unknowns. So Nectar can tell us that in the middle, those are Su-27s. But the top ones, those are unknowns. The Hawkeye, or our radar, doesn't know what they are. What I can do is go off of airspeed and altitude. And the airspeed that I was seeing was pretty fast, and the altitude is pretty high. And so I can assume that there's some sort of tactical aircraft. It's not a heavy bomber, it's not a refueling platform, it's a tactical aircraft, but that also doesn't mean that it's a fighter. If those Su-27s are coming through the SA-10 threat ring, then I can probably assume that those tracks up at the top right are probably something that the Su-27s are protecting. Which means, while they might not be heavy bombers, it might be an anti-ship bomber. Or backfire. The Tu-22, which can carry up to 3 kitchen missiles. So all I can see right now, I have the benefit of hindsight, but all I know right now is that there is one Su-27 there. That's all I can see on my display. So now I've brought my radar scan zone over to take a look at that guy. And I'm really suspicious. If it's a singleton, that's not much of a threat. But it's a two-ship, that's something to keep an eye on. And an ROE today is if there's something that is a significant threat to any airborne platforms or the strike group, cleared to engage it. Alright, so what you saw on the SA page there is it lit up yellow. And now you can see the top one is yellow, the bottom one is red. That means that there's two of them. So I haven't committed yet, but I'm definitely headed their way. I want to press them. I want to make sure that they know that I'm here. And I want to put me between them and the Hawkeye. What you can see on the radar display over there is them and then a line emanating out from the bottom of the display and dashed lines. Those dashed lines, the furthest one is the maximum range of the missile. The second one is the MAR, maximum abort range. That is basically, that is the range at which if I shoot, that missile is going to hit. And then the last line, which you can't really see at this range, is the minimum range. If I shoot at that range, the missile's probably not going to hit. So what am I doing here? Why am I not exactly between those Su-27s and the E-2? It's because I'm setting up a cap. And I want those Su-27s to know that I'm here, but I don't want to push all the way into that SA-10 threat ring. This could be a SAM trap, where they try to draw me in, and then I get shot down by that SA-10. I don't want that. So I'm trying to stay out as far as possible, but I also want to be a danger to them. I'm not a threat, but I could be. And I'm still keeping an eye on those two unknown contacts. I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is isn't good. That dashed line, straight dashed line, the end of that line on top right, that is the carrier. And so it looks like they're developing geometry to which they could commit weapons. And I don't want that. I want to protect my boats. So what I'm doing here, you can see my cursor went over those Su-27s. What popped up? What popped up on the left was their Mach, their speed in relation to the speed of sound. And then on the right was their Angels, their altitude in thousands of feet. I still really don't like what those unknown tracks are doing. I'm pretty sure at this point that those are backfires. Now, the escorts can handle any missiles coming in, but it would definitely be best if I intercept those backfires before any missiles are shot. Alternatively, let's say they do get missiles off, I want to make sure that they don't get back to base. So if I can shoot them down, even after they get missiles off, because those escorts really can handle themselves, that's for the best. Now at this point, yeah, I am committing to these Su-27s. There's the lock. Yeah, I'm 100% committing to these guys. I do not like them between me and those unknown tracks, and I want to commit to those unknown tracks. Now, I'm in TWS, track well scan mode. That means they don't know that I'm locking them. If I was in range well scan, the radar intensity would be much greater, and they would know that I'm locking them. So right now, they don't know that they're in danger. They don't know that I have them locked and I just shot at them. They won't know that I've shot at them until that missile's own onboard radar turns on. So I just fired 2 missiles. What happened there? Did I shoot 2 missiles at the same target? Oh, that's not necessarily unintelligent. What I actually did was I stepped targets. And now I'm diving. So right now I'm diving fast and hard, because let's say they shoot a missile at me. I want that missile to have to punch through really dense air. And they might have active radar missiles. Missiles that if they shot at me, I wouldn't know about it until it went active. But now you see there's a plume of smoke. One of those airplanes was just shot down. But there's another one out in front of me. And it looks like he's coming left. So that's splash 1. Remember, we're calm out. We're not telling anybody about this. This is all our own stuff. So step back to the Su-27. He's in range. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just punching through the clouds. I want to get eyeballs on this guy. And he's turning into us now. He's actually a threat. That doesn't mean he'll do anything. It just means that he's a danger to us. So now I've got eyeballs on. You might not be able to see it. We're very close range, Fox 3. There, that missile's pulling hard. Going up. Bam. There it is. Splash. That squealing tone, that was a Sidewinder turning on, locking onto the target. But I didn't need to commit weapons because the AMRAAM had already gotten it. So now I'm going to commit to those unknown tracks, which again we're pretty sure are backfires. Those Su-27s were in a position to protect them. But I can't drive at them hard because they're still well within that SA-10 SAM ring. I am in danger right now. If that SA-10 were to lock us up and shoot, that would be a problem for me. So I have to be careful here. Fortunately, my missile can do most of the closing. So now it's popped up on radar. Bam. There it is. But it's not within range yet. Now I could theoretically shoot right now. The missile does have enough energy to get out there, but it would take a very long time. And it might actually take so long that the missile's battery would run out. But now we're coming really close to the maximum range. Fox 3. And the reason why I fired a second one is you can see that second contrail coming up. That's a missile. That's probably a kitchen. And now I'm selecting Sidewinders. I want to see if I can get that missile. If the AMRAAM doesn't get it. But what I know now is that missile is super fast, it's going super high, and it's a lot farther away than it looks. But I commit weapons anyway. So that would be in M120 Bravo. But now there's basically nothing I can do. And I'm way out of airspeed. Right now I'm at about 140 knots. And I have long since dropped my tanks. I dropped my tanks, my external fuel tanks called bags, when we first committed weapons, or committed towards those Su-27s. So now you can see the buffeting on the jet. That's because we're so slow. So you can see smoke trails coming out of the sky. So that first backfire is dead. Now we're committing to the second backfire. And there it is on the essay page 222. That's the backfire. So we're in perfect geometry for a good shot. There's its own missile. And I know at this point that I'm not going to get it. So I am all in on that backfire. And, you know, I'm flying a fighter. Now, it would behoove me to go kill an aircraft as vulnerable as backfire. Another thing is, if it were to turn around right now, it is so fast that I would have a hard time catching it. Even an Eagle would. A backfire is a very fast plane. If it plugs in full afterburner and turns around, it could just walk away from me. So you can see me doing my scan down to the instruments, down to the radar, back up to the sky. Yeah, you cross-check everything. There's the Sidewinder tone. Fox 2. Splash. And just because I'm angry, yeah. So that do-do-do-do-do-do sound from the radar warning receiver, that was the stripe group locking onto the backfire. Now, it wasn't locking onto me, but we're within the very tight radar arc from the escorts. So our radar warning receiver thought that we were being locked onto. Now you can still see that data link track. Well, it's descending rapidly. It's still on radar, but we know we just shot it down. Checking the SA page, and we're good to go. There's nothing out here, except for the E2 Hawkeye. And that symbol up there that looks like a Mazda rotary piston, that's the TACAN station. That's our boat. So now I'm calling the boat. So if you want to know what all that means, read the Chuck's guides. But basically, that was me telling the CATC controller, hey, this is where I am, this is my fuel state. And then the CATC controller telling me, Bet, be here at this time. Or be here, this Angels. And then me going, Bet. And the final bearing, that was also which direction the boat is going. So 2, 9, or 8 degrees. it's pretty simple at this point. Fly in such a way that we're going to be able to intercept the approach and land. And I am still keeping an eye on the airspace because, frankly, there could be something out there that I missed or I didn't see on my essay page before I switched to the HSI. So it does behoove me to keep an eye out there and make sure that I'm not missing anything. So there's the HUD coming back up on the left screen, and I'm going to bring the HSI up in the middle screen, which you can't see. So now we're coming on to the final bearing. There are the boats just over the nose. Left is Theodore Roosevelt, and the right is the amphibious landing ship. So I'm about to throw my hook down here, and we're going to pass just to the right of the boat at approximately 1,500 feet at 350 knots. At 1.2 nautical miles in front of the boat, we're going to take a left-hand turn, throw the gear down as we come alongside, and then turn in as we go over past aft. Check in with paddles, the LSO, and trap. But you can see the runtime of the video. There's Betty. And there's TR on the bottom left. We're a little bit low the prescribed altitude, but it's fine. There is some buffer. There's the turn. At this point now, paddles, the LSO, is watching us. And he's going to be analyzing our pass, basically from this point all the way up until the point that our hook catches the wire. Auto throttle on, it's going to maintain on speed now. Turning in. We're fenced in and everything is good. We are just a little hair low. There's the wake of the boat. There you can see the eyelash needles on the HUD repeater. There's the boat. I can see the meatball. And I don't like it. Neither does paddles. I'm way low. Yep. It gave me the wave off way late, but I could also see the wave off lights on the meatball. Gear up, flaps up, come around. Now I'm going to try and repeat that, and it's not going to go well because I'm frustrated. And honestly, I've got the jitters from the fight. Like, that was exciting, and I'm losing track of my fundamentals. So, there's the aft end of the boat, and I'm going to turn too tight. too aggressively. Never mind, I spoke too soon. But that is true, I didn't lie. So, now we're repeating things. Approximately 1,200 feet, 350 knots. Turning 1.2 nautical miles. There's the turn. Everything was good at this point. A little bit high. I should be at about 900 feet right now. And I'm way too close. Way too close to the boat. You can see me aggressively correcting there. There's the aft end of the boat. I'm way too close, and I'm pulling a little bit too aggressively. Which is going to lead to me being way too close to the aft end of the boat at the end of this turn. I should be at about 1.5 miles out when at the end of that turn, and instead I was within 1 mile. So I took my own wave off there, and at this point I'm just going to line up for a case 2 recovery. So no overhead brake, but all visual. Because clearly I've got the jitters too much to take case 1. I gotta take the case 2. I can't handle case 1 right now. And you have to have that kind of humility. You have to just accept, I can't do this, I have to do something easier. So now I'm setting myself up way port and way aft, and I'm going to be doing a needles approach. So following the eyelash needles all the way down, watch the meatball, listen to paddles. And case 2 is easier than case 1. If you want to know the difference between case 1, case 2, and case 3, look it up or read chest guides. There's the Tarwa. And there's TR. It's a little high, so I'm going to push that velocity vector down. I'm about to check in with paddles. There's ATC. Line the velocity vector up with the needles. And now the auto throttle is in control of the power, not me. Managing on speed. Now I'm watching meatball lineup, angle of attack, 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 meatball lineup, angle of attack. Meatball lineup, angle of attack, meatball lineup, angle of attack, meatball lineup, angle of attack, meatball So, meatball, line up, angle of attack, meatball, line up, angle of attack, meatball, 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 solo, correct, meatball, 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 and trap. Full power,